I'm Eric Connerton. You're watching Working for Your Wallet on CBS 8+. Every week we'll take a look at the top consumer stories making headlines. We'll also go over ways to help you save money. We begin with two new reports that underscore consumers' uneasy feelings about the economy, tariffs and their jobs. Karen Kaifa has the details from Washington.
President Donald Trump denying the impact of his tariffs after the U.S. economy posted its worst quarter since 2022.
I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January. This is quarterly numbers.
Analysts see it differently.
Tariffs and the anticipation of tariffs were really driving some of the drop in GDP that we saw.
The Commerce Department said the nation's gross domestic product, or GDP, the total value of products and services, shrank at a 0.3% annual rate during the first 3 months of 2025. It's a sharp reverse from 2.4% growth during the final 3 months of 2024. Businesses stepped up imports during the first quarter, likely to get ahead of Trump's tariffs. And when imports exceed exports, that drags down growth. Consumer spending was its weakest since mid-2023.
The bottom line is that the economy is slowing. Consumers are not spending as much as they used to, and that's really taking away some of the power away from the economy at the time when tariffs and fears of recessions are starting to increase.
A separate report from payroll processor ADP showed private sector employers added just 62,000 jobs in April, a steep drop-off from 147,000 in March. Particularly concerning to some economists, small businesses pulling back.
Those are businesses that really have the least amount of margins to be able to deal with tariffs, and that's one of the things we're very concerned about going forward, is that we could see red ink in the employment data as we get into May and June.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
The White House has announced it is easing some tariffs on car makers. The 25% tariff on imported vehicles and auto parts will remain, but automakers will not be subject to the additional duty on imported steel and aluminum, and they'll get some offsets for cars finished in America. Walmart and Target have resumed business with some of their Chinese suppliers. The companies had paused orders for a few weeks due to uncertainties over tariffs on Chinese imports. The change comes after a meeting between President Donald Trump and the heads of Walmart, Target, Lowe's, and Home Depot. Albertsons is making headlines after a letter reportedly was sent to suppliers laying out a tariff-related rule. With few exceptions, the grocery chain is, quote, not accepting cost increases due to tariffs. The letter tells suppliers they will review price increases on a case-by-case basis, requesting 90 days of advance notice before a cost bump. You are likely already feeling the impact of President Trump's 125% tariffs on Chinese imports online. According to price analyst data from Smart Scout, sellers on Amazon have raised their prices on nearly 1,000 products. The average price hike is nearly 30%. Costs rose on a wide range of items, including phone chargers and women's clothing. Amazon said the products that have gone up in price only reflect 1% of the top 100,000 products on its site. We're learning more about Jack in the Box's planned closures. The San Diego-based fast food chain says it needs to dig itself out of a $300 million hole. We still don't know which locations will be closed. CBS 8's Abby Black has more on how customers are reacting.
Jack in the Box's famous Jumbo Jack, the late night munchie box, breakfast all day, or their new Smash Jack. What's your favorite?
Late night, I gotta get me some tacos, but I'm gonna go with the spicy chicken sandwich.
The extreme sausage, I gotta say. Quite a fan.
The fast food favorite first opened in 1951 in San Diego on El Cajon Boulevard. Today, with 2,200 stores nationwide, the new CEO just announced the company will close 200 locations. I spoke with customers at the drive-thru about the news.
I know it's a San Diego local, amazing establishment, so it sucks to hear that, but I hope this one right here in Claremont stays open because I've been using that one forever.
That's right. The late-night drive-thru is closing 10% of its stores.
I'm a big fan of Jack in the Box.
During a Jack on Track business update, new CEO Lance Tucker did not reveal which locations would close.
I'm going to give some of this detail in August, when we have, exactly the number of stores and exactly which stores they are identified. So I believe we will be able to give you a pretty good feel for what that looks like at that point, but I'm not prepared to do so today.
By year's end, they plan to close 80 to 100 underperforming stores, and Del Taco's future is uncertain.
This is perfect. I discovered it a couple of years ago, and I love it.
We caught up with Jane, who bought 3 Del Taco meals for just $9.99.
This is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I can't afford McDonald's, I'll be honest.
Jack in the Box purchased Del Taco 3 years ago and is now exploring a potential sale of its 600 stores across 17 states. Jack in the Box's second quarter sales are down 4.4%, Del Taco down 3.5%. The company hopes closures and property sales will generate $300 million. Fans worry this could be the end of an era.
Iconic, yeah. The Super Bowl ads, the commercial, I mean, it's everywhere. It's sad to hear that a company like this has got to close 200 stores. I mean, it's kind of telling to what's going on greater, in the world right now.
Abby Black, CBS 8.
The first round of closures, about 80 to 100 stores, are expected by the end of this year, with a total of 200 locations in the next 18 months. California is now the world's 4th largest economy. Governor Gavin Newsom's office says data from the International Monetary Fund and U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis showing that the Golden State has overtaken Japan. California's nominal gross domestic product, or GDP, has reached $4.1 trillion. Besides the U.S., California trails China and Germany in the global rankings. But our economy is growing at a rate of 6%, which outpaces all three. Starter homes are getting more expensive. Zillow found the typical starter home costs over $1 million in 233 U.S. cities. 113 of those cities are in California. Zillow also found more people are postponing home ownership. Right now, the median age of a renter is up to 42 years old. Less than 18% of Californians make enough money to buy a home. That's according to the California Association of Realtors. That is based on the median price of a home in the state, which was $865,440 in 2024. The number of Californians who could afford that was down 19% from the previous year. In San Diego, 15% of all households had enough income to buy $1 million median-priced home. The report found 20% of Asian households and 17% of white households in San Diego could afford a home. Meanwhile, only 9% of Latino households and 7% of black households could afford it. For decades, owning a home has been part of the American dream, but as prices and mortgage rates remain high, it is a dream that many can't afford. Jen Sullivan looks at the cost of buying versus renting a home.
The cost of living continues to rise across the country. In March, the median existing home sale price climbed to over $400,000. That's nearly 3% higher than a year ago, according to the National Association of Realtors. And home sales have dipped as a result, with many buyers wondering if they can even afford a home.
Affordability continues to be the biggest barrier for Americans trying to achieve home ownership.
Alex Gailey is an analyst at the consumer finance company Bankrate. They recently found on average, renting a home is cheaper than paying a mortgage in all 50 of the largest U.S. metro areas.
We know home prices have skyrocketed in the last few years because we saw that big pandemic boom. And we also know mortgage rates have risen dramatically.
The median monthly mortgage payment in March was about $2,800, according to Redfin. Mortgages typically include property taxes and home insurance costs. Whereas the median rent was about $1,600, but rentals often tend to be smaller.
There's a lot of upfront costs that you don't have to deal with renting that can be financially beneficial for you, even if you are missing out on building equity through a home.
There is some good news. The further you live from a major city, the price gap between buying and renting a home narrows. And many experts predict home sale prices will come down in the next few years as more inventory comes onto the market. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, it's time to start getting ready for the summer travel season. While we've all noticed prices going up, there is some good news on the travel front. While they are still expensive, airline tickets are a bit cheaper than last year. The Consumer Price Index this month shows airline fares fell more than 5% from this time last year. It will now cost you on average about $253. But what if you waited until the last minute and you still want to get away? You might have some options. According to travel rewards company Upgraded Points, Spirit and Frontier lead the list of airlines where last-minute tickets trend cheaper than buying in advance. Other airlines that it found won't break the bank last minute: Hawaiian, Southwest, and Alaska. If prices right now are still too much, there are a couple of options. If you have a travel rewards card, consider leveraging miles and points to soften the blow. Travel site Going also recommends, if you're flexible on dates, consider pushing back that vacation to the fall or winter months. Those are your top consumer stories making headlines. You can watch Working for Your Wallet every week on our streaming channel CBS 8 Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.